You right, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Aberdeen save. We've just finished the season. It's ended up... It's a tough one to take. So I think we've had a really good season, but we don't really have a lot to show for it. Some frustration, but you know, on the whole, I think we can be pretty proud of our first season. Let's take you through it, shall we? So as you can see, we finished third. We tried our best to keep up the title challenge. We just couldn't quite do it. We actually had an all right last 5 games of the season. First of all, though, we did have the cup game against Rangers. Unfortunately, Rangers were just far too good for us. Really took us off our feet in the first half. We were lucky, really, to only be 1 down by half-time. They did get a second from Connor Goldson on the 59th minute. Not long after that, Calvin Ramsey got himself sent off. We did muster a goal, and I did think we might actually nick a draw and go to extra time. But Yanis Hadji on the 94th minute kind of put paid to that. Got their third. They deserved it. I'm not even too sure if they've gone on and won it, to be honest. Not even played yet. But you'd assume they beat St Johnstone. We then followed that up with a 1-1 draw against Celtic at home. Again, a game that would have been nice to win, but a home draw against one of the old firm, can never really argue. 3-1 win at home against Hearts, and then a 2-0 win away to Hibs. Started off our 3-game away series. We controlled the game. It was a little bit squeaky up until the last few minutes when Andy Considine got our second goal, but finished it off 2-0 away win, and then a tough 1-0 loss away at Ibrox. Again, a game where Rangers controlled the game fairly well, but we did have our chances. We could have maybe got back into it, and at this point, we still were in with a chance, if we'd have beaten Rangers, of maybe kind of pipping second and getting the Champions League spot. By this point, Celtic had beaten Rangers, and they'd already confirmed themselves as the title winners. Finished the season with a 1-0 win. Tougher game than expected away from home, but it was a bit of a procession, to be honest. By this point, all the teams were where they were going to finish. So, yeah, we finished third. Creditable finish, though, because 77 points is an Aberdeen points record. So we might not have won the title. We might not have won a cup, but there is definite progression there. We are handily the third best team in Scotland, based off our goal difference and points in the league. What we need to do is solidify that, keep up, or at least don't let Rangers and Celtic get too far ahead with the money that they're inevitably going to invest. Yeah, a solid season. First off, a few disappointments. B- is probably the rating I'd give myself and the team as well. So, yeah, not too bad. As regards transfer funds for the next season, they're saying they're going to give us just less than £1 million and up the wage budget a little bit. So, hopefully, we can get a little bit more money out of them. There is also the chance that Lewis Ferguson might attract some bids. He's valued at 5 to 6 million. If we can get somewhere around 10 million, it might be too much of a temptation to say no. The reinvestment potential of that kind of money is massive. We'll see what happens as regards that. He won't sign a new deal without a very low release fee in it as of right now. So I'm not looking to get him signed up to a new contract. So maybe it's a case of we have to sell him this summer, or we get another year out of him and get a little bit less money. We'll see how it goes. We have got a lot of room to invest and to grow. As you can see, a lot of this first team is over 30 now. So you got 4 of them here who are at their peak, soon to start declining. You've got a few players that are already on the decline. And I'd say Scott Brown and Andy Considine, we need to be looking for players who can come in and be ready to replace them by the end of the season. Scott Brown probably before the start of the season, to be honest. I think we can do better than Scott Brown in midfield now. He's a very good player, a great leader, but the guy just can't run anymore. There have been a few times where his lack of pace has really hindered him and cost us goals. And as you can see, his progress, he's just on a constant decline right now. So we need to figure out how we're going to replace him and who we're going to replace him with. And what his role in the team is going forward as well. I don't see him being too happy just being sat on the bench all the time. In terms of our top performers, it's going to go to no surprise that Lewis Ferguson is our top performer. Did slow down a little bit in the second half of the season, but he he did have a fairly big injury just before we got into the second half of the season. Had himself a pulled thigh and then a hernia. So he was out for a couple of weeks, well, a week or so with that, but then the hernia took him out for a month. So it really kind of like stagnated his season a little bit. He's been fighting back from injury. He's finished with 18 goals and 6 assists as a central midfielder, not even like playing as an attacking midfielder. We've been using him mainly as a box-to-box player. His free kick taking, his penalty taking have been good as well, but he is a danger. And like I say, if we can keep him around, hopefully we can help build up the players around him so he doesn't have to carry us so much. And when we do need to rest him or leave him out or he picks up a little knock, we don't miss him so much. Because when he was out, we really, really did miss him. Calvin Ramsey there, second top performer, unsurprisingly. Lad got 12 assists in 28 games. Does take a lot of set pieces, but still, he's a great performer. Not a great defender, that must be said. But the way that we use him as a complete wing back on attack, he gets up the pitch, he affects the play higher up the pitch. He's great for that. And we do have the players in the midfield to kind of make up for his misgivings, should we say. A big shout out to David Bates, though, and Declan Gallagher, and Andy Considine as it stands. 3 centre-backs who have always been pretty much in rotation. Gallagher and Considine have been our rock. But David Bates, when he's come in, has always performed really well. Again, they got a few goals from set pieces. For the vast majority of the time, look really solid defensively. Please ignore David Bates' last 5 games. He had a couple of mares in there. And a little shout out to Christian Ramirez, who's ended up in a 7.08 over the course of the season. Got himself 11 goals and 5 assists in 21 starts. For a player that was incredibly frustrating first half of the season where we just couldn't really get a tune out of him, I did end up bringing in Gonzalo Carnero, who looked like he could be an answer. Turns out he's more of a nuisance. Christian Ramirez has found his form a little bit in the end of the season, so maybe he is a person that we can and should be persisting with going into next season. I would like a little bit more striker depth, someone who is a little bit more reliable in front of goal, because he should arguably have scored more with some of the chances that he's missed. But yeah, double figures, 5 assists as a more kind of supplementary striker. I'm using a deep line forward with him, so he is there to provide as well as score goals. He's had a decent season out of it. And Longstaff and McCrory, like I say, kind of under the radar a little bit. Not tons of goals from Matty Longstaff. Ross McCrory's played everywhere. Literally played defensive mid, centre back, right back, centre mid, and been handily capable at all of them. I'm going to look to solidify his position in the squad, probably as a DM, but I like the idea of using him as a ball carrying centre half. We'll see what we can do in pre-season. But it is going to be a big summer. Lots of loan players are leaving. I don't want to be bringing any of these loan players back just because of the fees that they're going to be demanding. So it's going to be a lot of players that we're looking to replace just from loans, let alone looking for a potential replacement for Fabio Contrao. Maybe a new striker needs to come in, and some more midfield and attacking depth as well. The bare bones of the squad is very bare bones. We've got some really good young players. We've got a couple of very good experienced players, but I feel like we overachieved this season, and to really step on and get into Europe proper, get some money flowing into the club, we're going to need some decent investment. £1 million isn't going to take us that far, but I'm pretty sure we can do some smart business. There are some fairly cheap players available. There are a lot of contracts coming up as well. So I feel like we can end up with a better squad after the summer, and I'm pretty confident we will. This is a slightly older save, so there are some players coming in. If you caught the stream today, well, yesterday, I guess technically, you'll know who they are. If you've missed that, tune in today, 2 p.m. over on twitch.tv/VikingDan. We're going to finish off pre-season. We've barely even played, I think we played 1 game. We barely even started pre-season, but we do have a few transfers on the way and a few bits of business in the pipeline. So yeah, it's looking impressive so far. We'll see if we are needing a couple of little finishing touches though. So come and join us for that. We're going to be doing lots of scouting, looking at players, and maybe some like tactical tweaks in pre-season to see if we can get something more out of these players. Side note, it does need to be said, The skin that I'm using is the FMRensie Skin. I have edited it a little bit, just to my own tastes, but it's a brilliant skin. It's not too far away from the base skin, which I really like this year, to be honest. It just gives you a little bit more information. Things like your home screen, things like the team screen as well as having a little bit more information on the players' pages. It's a really nice skin, works really well. Rensie does great work, and I've pretty much exclusively used his skins in the past, I think 3 years, maybe 4 years, maybe. Always does great stuff. Really good guy as well. So go check him out, fmrensie.net, or I will leave a link down in the description as well. So there we go. Season wraps up. Like I say, a little bit disappointing, but I think breaking a points record in our first season, finishing third behind the old firm with a much, much smaller wage budget, I'm pretty happy with that. I think a good summer, we could maybe challenge for a title, maybe get ourselves a Scottish Cup or a Scottish League Cup. But the big thing is trying to get through those group stages, or get through to the group stages in Europe, get a little bit of money, some sponsorship money, maybe a little prize money if we can get to the knockout stages. Who knows how far we can go, but we are going to need a bit more depth to the squad. We're going to need a bit more quality, and with the age of some of these players, we're going to need some fresh legs, I think. So join me at 2 p.m. today to carry on the save over on twitch.tv/VikingDan. We're going to be doing some more transfers, some more scouting, and fingers crossed we can keep hold of our best young players. Lewis Ferguson, the money would be nice, but the player is nicer. As always, guys, if you've enjoyed the video, do leave a thumbs up. If you're not already, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.